Oh, yeah. Peace and black power to the family. Y'all already know what it is. I'm Rebel with a cause.
And I'm the brother Ken Waddle I Kill.
And this is Rebels Roundtable.
Rebel Vision Television. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well.
Yeah, and leave a comment. Everybody comment us. Not in the chat, but in the comment under the video.
Right.
If you're listening, everybody put us. Just put us in the comments under the video. We're going to start making everybody do that. That's what's up. Woo! We got a big one tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, got a big one tonight, man.
What we doing?
Hey, man, we got the brother, Melvin Farmer. You know,
quadruple OG.
That's right, you know, an activist, author, and a gang interventionalist. And we also have Barbara D. Gaskins. She's from North Carolina. She's a certified re-entry specialist. And we also have the brother AYATOLLAHMARV.
AYATOLLAHMARV.
Word up. He's also a gang interventionalist. So yeah, and we're gonna talk about the federal gun laws and the injustices of Black people in America, man.
Yo, I read AYATOLLAHMARV is the oldest active PIRU.
Yep. Him and you know, of course they from LA. You know, him and the brother Melvin.
Yes, sir.
They was there when the Bloods and Crips was first formed. You know what I mean? So yeah, so now they gang interventionalists, community activists as well. You know what I mean? So they out here doing something positive. I checked them out on a few podcast shows. You know what I mean? And I like what they doing. So yeah, it's an honor to have them brothers on the show and the sister as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no question. Let's get it popping. They all in there. Let's go. Straight to it.
Let's go.
Oh, in the 2-minute wait, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Rebel Vision Television. Leave a comment. This one's gonna be a good one. We got some powerful brothers and goddesses on the panel. So sit back, relax, and catch a contact with us.
That's right. Hey, how y'all brothers and sisters doing?
Peace, Goddess Gaskins.
Hey.
Oh, I think you muted.
Yeah, she muted.
Yeah, the goddess is muted.
Peace and blessings.
Peace to the goddess.
How you doing, sister? Nice to meet you.
Doing well. Hope you both are.
Yep. Hey, you got the brother AYATOLLAHMARV. How you doing, brother?
How you
doing? How are you?
We
Salute. Good. Much respect.
That's right. And we also got the brother Melvin Farmer. And like I say, I've been talking to the brother Melvin for the past few days, ever since last week. It's an honor to have you guys on the show. Believe me, we appreciate it. And you wanted to talk about the conversation, the federal gun laws, and also the injustices in the black community as well. You know what I mean? In America, to be honest with you, know what I mean? The injustices be going on since the beginning of the time, since I could remember. You know what I mean? Before then.
Even before then.
That's right.
Well, we're gonna get Mr. Farmer on in a second. He's in there.
Yeah.
But we just started our page, so everybody's not too familiar with you guys. Could you guys just give a brief introduction of yourselves? 1 minute, you know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm AYATOLLAHMARV out of Bompton, California, the oldest living PIRU. Grew up in the system, did 25 years in state prison, out activating, trying to create new wealth lines for Black America, like we were talking earlier about the injustice of America. I mean, that's been going on. We fought in every war shed blood, lost lives, and out of 50 states, we ain't got one. So
Right.
we're trying to turn this around. And God told me one time that Black people don't want to be free. We just want white people to like us. So I'm trying to change that motive.
Yes, sir. Let me ask a quick question. What is the part of America that we do want? Is there any certain states?
Well, actually, we don't want no. I'm doing the gang truce. I'll tell you a little bit about getting some land. We ain't gonna want to be around nowhere where that Peckerwoods ain't anyway. The purpose is just getting the land to be landowners, right? And we had the gang truce in the city of Compton. I got Garth Brooks to donate $1 million to the gang truce for the city of Compton, right? So when we went to Hubert Rubinoff about what did we want, and so everybody thought I was tripping because I asked for some land. People asked for material things, and I asked for land. They told me, well, you out your mind. Well, where are we gonna go? What? So if we get the desert, I'm not gonna live on the desert, but the Arabs live on the desert, right? So it's land that they could use. If we ask for the mountains, the Swiss, one of the banking capitals of the world, are all mountains, so we could get international. It's not where we live, it's what we do. And we have to become internationally thinking instead of civil thinking. That's what Malcolm said, you know, we can never go with civil rights, we have to deal with human rights.
That's a fact, OG. Melvin Farmer in the building, but Goddess Gaskins, could you describe yourself real quick for the family?
Sure. So Barbara Gaskins out of North Carolina. A little bit about me and why I'm so such an advocate for the criminal justice system. At the age of 17, I was charged with a misdemeanor. They actually held that misdemeanor until I was 18. You know, after getting the misdemeanor, after understanding, you know, that I did wrong and tried to move forward, I since obtained a bachelor's degree in behavioral science, a master's degree in criminal justice. I'm 2 credits shy of a second master's in special education with certifications in response to interventions and emotional behavioral disorders. I found out, of course, that was still not enough to kind of move forward from my past. And so, you know, since then, I've been a strong advocate in criminal justice or with the criminal justice system. I'm also a nationally certified reentry professional, and I'm an author of 2 reentry manuals, one of which we're in discussion of adding it into North Carolina prisons. And I'm also talking with DOJ to see how we can implement access to the books in BOP.
Powerful. Don't worry, we gonna vote. We gonna vote for you.
And former congressional candidate for U.S. House NCO3.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. You running again?
I am. You know, what I found out as, you know, just being Black in America, you know, when we look at it, we have to sit and ask ourselves. I ran as a Democrat, but we really have to ask ourselves, what has either party given us? Or, you know, how have we benefited from either party? You know,
Right.
Our hoods are still the same. You know,
Yeah.
Everyone has gotten something. Every population, every culture has gotten something except us, you know, and they use our backs to receive what they've gotten. And we're still forgotten out of that equation.
Yeah, that's a triple fact. Speaking of triple OG, Melvin Farmer in the building, co-founded at A-Trade.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
how you doing? My name is Melvin Farmer. I'm a former lifer from California, the first to ever be released up under the California 3 Strikes Law and reversal in 1998. I'm an author of the book, The New Slave Ship, A Ship That Does Not Sail. I'm a political consultant. I've been in political campaigns. In fact, me and Marv are advisors and consultants and community organizers for Barbara Gaskins' campaign in North Carolina, where we feel that the voting population in the whole Southern District at a 48% rate, we think that we need to increase the participation in the South and let them know that their voices matter. Also, I deal as a credible messenger. Me and Marv are the first credible messengers west of the Mississippi in the history of the prestigious Credible Messenger program, where we deal in restorative justice and redefining the community. We also believe in economical empowerment, affirmative action. We have another umbrella organization called the National Alliance for Affirmative Actions, where we take it to them with the pen. We lobby for laws, and we try to give back and create opportunity. We deal in financial literacy. We just come off tour with our gloves up, guns down, youth crime prevention program, where we went on a 8-state tour, 9 cities, and MARV and them just come back where they were honored our program to be one of 2 picked at Florida to attend the Mayweather fight, where Mayweather personally greeted our youth and another youth in Sunrise, Florida. And so right now we're gathering up to see what we can do to make safe passage across the communities. In fact, we'll be with T-Pain in a couple of weeks, where we'll be in Compton to show that the city of Compton in Los Angeles, that you can come here as a safe haven, and that the stereotypings that's being placed across the nation when it comes to Southern California, Compton, Watts, Long Beach, Willowbrook, Inglewood to Hollywood, the alleys to the valleys, it's not the real images, and that we are in California up and down the coast. We're doing things to help unify our community that is otherwise being drowned out by social media.
That's powerful. Let's get into it. We'll backtrack to some of those layers as the conversation goes. But we're talking about gun laws. We need to learn. We don't even want to get in y'all guys' way. What do you think we need to know? What don't we know that's happening? And we're gonna play ignorant just so we can get as much information out. What do we need to know about the gun laws in America?
You want me to go, Marv, since I'm up under, or you want to go?
You can go first.
All right. We'll take Bootsy Badass case since that's a hot topic. And as you know, Bootsy recently was indicted under 922G1. It's 1 to 10 codes up under 922G. It's a ACC Act, Armed Career Criminal Act, and you have another level that's a 924G. These laws were implemented in 1994, dealing with violence because of the drug trade and the gun use and the change of weaponry. And in Bootsy's case, he's being tried in federal court because of his 3 prior, you must have 3 prior violent felonies. And you also can be up under that with 3 drug convictions. In my case, I cover those 2 and 924. That's when you have the use of violence also to where they find you guilty of the use of the gun. That'll get you life without. Bootsy is placed in 15 years up under the little bitch is what they call it, and 25 up under the big bitch. But what you must know is there's no a statute of limitations once you qualify with the mitigating circumstances. I've been on it since it first came in 1984. Me and Woodrat happened to have the same state parole agent. But we also were in the county jail from 81 all the way up to almost 84. So when we got found guilty of a violent offense, that made me, for me, my third, and we both went down there, and the FBI came, and they had a piece of paper, and they say, we have to notify you of this new law that came out, and we signed the papers. And if Woodrat wouldn't have got caught with a weapon, where he ended up he beat the case, but he got violated, just like Boosie. He beat the case in federal court, they didn't file, and they refiled it. In his case, when he was walking out from the year violation from Folsom, he ended up doing 15, 16 years on a case to where he wasn't even found guilty in state court. But also, I think that they're targeting the rappers, actors, and entertainers because they're high profile, right, and that they're showing the nation that, hey, we're doing something to stop gun violence. So why not use them as we arrest them? And they call it making a splash. If you recall, Lil Wayne had a state case in Florida prior to 2019 when Trump appointed Dave DeVellis as the U.S. Attorney General. And we had gave notice that every felon that get arrested with a gun, the FBI, the DEA, or the ATF will look at that case and decide if they want to try you up under the federal gun statute, ex-felon with a gun. Then you had untouchable gorillas in New York. And the feds make a splash when they arrested the untouchable gorillas. They say, we just proved to you they're not untouchable. Kodak Black got up under this. Casanova, look at the timeline from 2019 up for that 3-year period. A lot of rappers were getting indicted. Quando Rondo, Young Thug State. So they're doing that so the public can see the regular citizens. But when it comes to Black, it's about tough gun laws. When it comes to white, it's about gun control. So my what I would like to tell all those that have prior felony gun convictions or prior felonies or drug convictions, I would stop flossing on social media and giving private information and making it public, because the feds are monitoring that and they will come give you a federal arms career criminal act.
Wow. That's 922G ACC? Is that
922G and then 9224? If you get found guilty of 922G, they will use 924 as the enhancement to where that carries, if say you had a murder, that'll carry the death penalty in federal court or life without when they use the mitigated stances and enhancements on the 924G.
Wow. Yes, brothers, if you out there, you can't keep flossing on the internet.
Right.
We heard about the hip hop cops years ago.
Yeah.
Now it seems like it's like the hood is under attack or under watch. They don't care who you are. You don't even have to be famous to get these tags. Oh, that's crazy.
Well, just like Melvin was saying, if I can say, under what Melvin was talking about and the recent, and let's go back to the inception, because, you know, in the Constitution, it says all Americans have a right to bear arms.
Yeah.
So when you make the Constitution and you write the amendments and the laws, but the laws don't apply to Blacks in America. The gun law started in 1966 in Oakland, California, when the Black Panther Party used the right to bear arms.
Sure.
After that right to bear arms, California put a ban on Blacks having guns, specifically Blacks. And so it was all part of J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO program. And once they implemented that, where they segregated who could carry a gun, now you could not, you know, in some states, the southern states, you can have open carry, but they're trying to segregate it on who is allowed to have open carry. Like Melvin was mentioning, becoming a felony. Once, you know, I just was on a podcast the other day, was talking about Juneteenth. And my feelings on Juneteenth is that we're celebrating getting information about the Emancipation Proclamation, the Emancipation Constipation 2 years late. So Blacks we're celebrating something that we're late. We're always late. We're the last to get hired, the first to get fired. Absolutely. So the Emancipation Constipation did not free slaves. Then it came to 1888 when they filed the 13th Amendment. And the 13th Amendment freed everybody, but unless you were incarcerated. So in 1889, they came up with a vagrancy law. If you didn't have over 25 cents, which was $25 or $100 today, you could be arrested for vagrancy and you were put back on the plantation. So they're using these methods that we sleep on, you know, and they find them to, like Melvin was talking about the media. These kids get on the media in all states now, I believe it, but in California specifically, the police department has a whole media program where they listen to all texts, they listen to emails, blood this, crip this, cuz this, and they attach those, they do it in the Fed, they have operative words. And you talk about somebody told on you, you told on yourself. And Melvin was saying that in 1968 in the Feds, the federal came up with an amendment called Operation Safe Streets for any known felon or gang member in possession of a weapon that wasn't made in his state is interfering with commerce, and you can get up to 35 years. So you don't even have to use the gun, but you should never do a crime you don't know what the cost is. So we're so uninformed. We do all this thing, and you think that this media, it's no commercial after arrest. You got to go through some stuff. And these young rappers, nobody has given them the instructions. You have all of these. We're the only race of people. Black people are the only race of people that the old niggas criticize the young kids. And you don't hear Mexicans criticizing Mexicans. You don't hear Japs criticize. These old coons is always talking about how black kids are out of control. How am I out of control and you didn't leave me nothing?
Absolutely. I think to add on to what Ayatollah was saying, you know, it's important to understand that when the Black Panthers were, you know, having their guns, that's when NRA was against guns. And NRA is one of our biggest gun lobbyists right now in support of the Second Amendment. But as he's saying, you know, when it comes to us, it's of course a double standard.
So let me get this right for what you just said, Goddess. They didn't do that until, the NRA didn't do that until we started repping the guns?
Right.
NRA was against guns when it came to us.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't think I knew that. I thought they was always about guns.
No, the NRA did not start adapting high-powered rifles until the Burke Society, after the John Burke Society in San Bernardino in 1972, they got arrested with tanks and semi-automatic weapons and AK-47s, and then the NRA changed this style that you could have automatic weapons. That's when they started in 1973. They endorsed the gun law that you could have automatic weapons. That's when they embraced it in 1973, the NRA.
So it's really, they did that to defend themselves for the thought of blacks with guns.
Okay, yeah, for sure. There's that, like Ms. Gaskins was saying earlier about the Democrats and the Republicans. Before, you know, we black people, I don't believe in, no, I just believe in the winner. But to be a Democrat, before the fall of the war, the Democrats were Dixiecrats.
Right.
The abolitionists were Republicans. And before they were Republicans and Democrats, they was the Whig Party and the Federalists. They was a gang too. And so when they did a thing called the Boston Tea Party and separated themselves from England, in 100 years, they became an organization. So people talk about Bloods and Crips, and if we killed each other for the next 20 years, we wouldn't kill enough white people killed in the Crusades. They've been killing each other for 300 years.
Absolutely.
But that's off topic. But about guns, guns is always good for them, but it's never good for us. They see you with a phone in your hand and they'll shoot you 30 times, but a white boy kills 9 or 10 blacks with an AK-47 and they take him to the hamburger stand. So we can't ask for anything that we won't do for ourselves. Like I said, we've been in every war since the landing of the Plymouth Rock, and we fought in other countries, but we'll picket and pray for ourselves. We never fight for ourselves. We stand up, we march, the George, Uncle Biden, Biden just passed a law in September 2020, September the 22nd, 2021, to make the Emancipation Proclamation, Juneteenth, federal holiday, right? In September 2022. But he never said a word of passing the passage of the George Floyd Policing Act in February of the same year. He didn't say nothing about that, but to keep Negroes happy and let us cook barbecue about being 2 years late, we can celebrate, huh?
That's crazy.
So we don't demand anything. We beg for it, but we don't die for it.
Is it because we keep running after the Democrats? Because they kind of did black people politically did black people the worst over all of these years, and we still kind of run under the Democrats. I know
we run under anybody that hate us, but each other.
And I'll say when it comes to that, like when it's time for elections, that's when you see them. Like, and I think as black people, like we understand how Republicans feel about us, but on the other end, the other side will love on us, and like Ayatollah said, you know, we just don't want to be hate. We want to be liked by them. And I mean, at the end of the day, as I had told you before, I did run, and if you would, I found out that so many so-called Democrats had been voting Republican ever since that they've been able to vote, but they still have a D behind their name.
That's right.
Okay, this might be sidebar, but what do we do if we're not Democrat or Republican? Do we create our own party? What would that?
What's wrong? Why do we think we need white folks' acceptance to be free?
Sorry.
That's our biggest problem. All the black people that we have in the sports world, why don't we have an all-black team? We are too scared to be independent. We want to be dependent.
Let me add on to that about what we can do, because we've been, since George Floyd, this stuff been going on from water holes to chokeholds to Republicans or Democrats, and what's really changed. So we're independent where we're split right down the middle, but we feel that once we start registering these young men, women, and children who are eligible to vote, to where we feel that they will have the leverage to go and sit at that table with the Democrat or Republican. But also, when a white person in Beverly Hills, if that elected official up in 90210 area doesn't do what the community say, they hold a recall and they vote him out. But why would we continue to revote and this system of nepotism with the Democratic Party? There's a system of nepotism where you see Mark Ridley Thomas Jr., Mark Ridley Thomas Sr., and so forth and so forth. And we let these same political politicians monopolize our communities, whether it be on the federal, state, or local level, to where why would we accept change or expect change, keep going back to the same fruit of the poisonous tree? We think right now is the time for other young voices to be heard, to carry on the torch. But we as elders, particularly me and Ayatollah and I heard young NBA say, "Oh, it's the G's that let us down." No, you got real OGs, if that's what you want to call them. You guys do not listen to what we're trying to tell you. Our future, my security, we're at an age now where we just trying to give you youth. We embrace you, we love you, but we don't want to see you guys going down the path we went to. Marv over 20-something years in prison, me over 30-something years in prison, and going against our own. We think that we can empower our own selves economically, financially, socially, and mentally. We also going to start where we're going to introduce a bill called ICSS, inner city stress centers, where we feel it's a form of reparation. Since we can't get it this way, we hear so much about the mental health and the conditions and the traumatizations of those in our communities that is not going and being checked on. We feel that this is no more difference than the conditions in war when you go over there to fight the Chinese, the Afghanistans, or what, and we're up under these same conditions within these inner cities. So our first goal is to come back and help our people. That's what we want to do, and form our own party where we're not here to catch. You know, every race got an organization that will kill a black man, all because of the color of our skin. And we got to get ourselves together, because even if we all come together, we still got a war against fear. All we're saying is, you ain't got to get rid of your guns. Just keep them off each other, brothers. Give us the children and the parents a chance, man, and the elderly. Let's respect our community. Our values going down. They're coming in with gentrification. They're buying all the homes that your mother had because of the cartel floating their money. And let's hold these guys with money, the sports athletes, the rappers and actors. Why we don't see them in the community with their boots to the ground when the camera's not around, or they pumps to the pavement? We don't see that. We need their support to come in and help us. They have the resources to come reinvest once they see that they're safe passage, and we have consumers, which nobody spend more than the blacks. So why should we be spending on the white man when we can produce our own, make our own social media? We don't need them. We control our own narratives.
Thanks. Not to change the subject, this is all powerful. It's all relative too. I think it would be ill if the young G's out there heard how you and Marv and you came to this conclusion. I know y'all are the true original source coding of gang membership and activity. How did you guys come to the conclusion to, you know, fix the hood instead of help destroying it?
Can I go first, Marv?
Well, you know,
and I'll be real quick. Well, really, we were all young. When I first went to prison and I realized what an AB was, a Mexican mafia, a Northern familiar, a Southern familiar, and realized that all the Crips, Blood, BGF, Black Guerrilla Family, Black Panthers, that didn't mean nothing to them. We all had to stand together because they were attacking us, as Marv can attest to this, and he was up in the war zone before me. And because of that experience at the age of 19, that woke me up to the realization that, hey, man, I've been fighting the wrong enemy. And I quit cold turkey. I quit cold turkey. I turned my gun in as far as hurting my own. And I also realized after 32 years that you don't realize that you're hurting your mother. You're hurting your mother, man. And the only thing stronger than a man's pride is a mother's love. So starting when I got that education And I've never been arrested for a violent offense against a Black out of 60-something arrests, by the way, but I do have about 45 robberies. I've always been at money. So sometimes you'll hear, oh, Melvin gangbang. We didn't gangbang that long, but that's what gave me my awareness and consciousness about us as Blacks. Once I realized, hey, man, we got guys that will kill us because of the color of our skin only. And I quit cold turkey. Then I became with Rosie Green, 1976, 77, the first gang intervention program, the Long Table on 76 and Broadway back in the day. That was in 1976. So I've been doing gang intervention, restorative justice, and trying to redefine the community for a long time, since 1978. So this is not no new dance to me.
Yes, sir. Respect. Brother Marv?
Yes, sir. Well, in my line, I've always been what we call a revolutionary. I grew up with the Spook Hunters and the Minutemen, and our fight is always, and as Melvin said, once I went into the system at 17, the Black Panthers, the Black Guerrilla Family, we were always up against the structure. My fight has always been police or whites or Mexicans, the Mexican mafia. So I'm when before Crips and Bloods came about, I was the BGF, Black Guerrilla Family, because everybody from Compton and San Quentin was BGF, and we fought against Mexican mafia, Aryan Brotherhood, and that's been my plight. I'm a gang member. I've never been a gang banger. I'm like, all my IBs have been on white people or Mexicans. I've never done anything to a Black that ain't done it to me first. You feel what I'm saying? So I came into PIRU as an economical empowerment. I've never been jumped in a gang. If you hit me, we're not going to be friends. Me and my friends don't hit each other. We hit other people. You feel what I'm saying? So we do power. So once it came, and then when I started seeing my development, and you see what you messed up. So if I was part of the problem, whatever it is, now it's my responsibility to be part of the solution. I have children. I don't want my children misinterpreted or misconceived about what their Blackness is and what their manhood is. To be a man don't make you, anybody can shoot a gun. You dig what I'm saying? But the biggest thing, I remember a man told me one time, he said, Marvin, you ain't gonna do nothing but make the graveyard and the undertakers rich. The quickest way you can hurt a man's feeling is be successful. The better you become, the worse he becomes, and he will kill himself. So that's, I'm trying to do. President Barack Obama in 2012, made an act called the Jobs Act, and he brought it into law. And he said they had to close the wealth gap. And he said, go tell my people. And he started private IPOs, what is called right now in the stock market, they call unicorn stock. And there's a lot of you just now hearing about that nigga ain't never done that. He empowered Blacks so much, but we just looking for a party and to have a holiday and eat barbecue. He made an economical empowerment where every Black can be. We have a organization called the Black Unicorn Factory, a private IPO. And the Black Unicorn Factory, we build unicorns. My business is Pottsgrove Farms. We give stock away. And in our creating of stock, we can close the wealth gap in 6 years, that we can empower Blacks. But man, we're not asking you to put anything in. You don't have to put a dime into it. You'll get $150 worth of stock if you just go to Follow Me for Equity. You know what I'm saying? So I found a way that you can tell somebody something, but you got to show them. These young kids don't care what you told them. They don't care about whether I was rich in 78. This is 2023. What are you doing today?
Right. Right. I got a question. Because we kind of hear the word gangbang used so widely and so loosely. from both of you guys' opinion, what is the difference, if there is, between gang banging then to what you see now?
I'll let Marv, I'll defer to you first because you was in it, your era, and then we'll go like that. I'm after Marv.
Well, gang banging, the first initiation of gang banging, it was one group of young kids going into another neighborhood and ravishing it, you know, and the banging it began, and it was just fighting. It came to another situation when today they don't even gang bang today. You know, it's straight assassinations. Yeah. So gang banging was an element of one group of kids going into ravishing a neighborhood or ravishing a school or ravishing a party and banging on everybody, you know. So the concept kind of evaporated and up grew another monster that came out of our control, but not just was created out of our control. It was well manipulated by white America. Before the media, gang banging was so low, we didn't have, but when you start advertising this on the media, on TV, on the news, everybody wants that 30 seconds of fame. I want to take credit for doing this, right? And so it became, to some, you never heard about a high-speed chase before the 90s. You know what I'm saying? That was never, now you hear them every day, because before I go to jail, I'm gonna get my 30 seconds of fame. So gang activity came into where every hood want to get their piece of fame. So that's what I feel like the difference between gang banging, the creation, and what's done now. Melvin, you can tell him how it really go.
What was the question? What was the difference between gang banging when I actually started and as today? I would start by saying today we see the commercialization of criminal activity where they label them a gang. But have we really looked at the back of the label where it say made in the USA? If you read the label. 1972, I was 14. I was hanging. I was a gang member. I'm hanging around Tookie. By 15, I was an active gang member. But let us remember, that's why I let Marv go. First, we've had gangs in America, whether it's Irish. This country was built on gangsterism. Yep. Now, in my case, in 1972, 71, there was a void. Marvin said that co-pro-trail, how you say it, Marv? Contrail or whatever.
COINTELPRO.
Right.
COINTELPRO.
They infiltrated the Black Panthers. Those are organizations which we do not have and need back today. They are the blueprint for this revolution that, like they said, it really will not be televised. It won't. So in my era at 14, 15, 16, we were naive. We didn't have nobody to say 50 years later, that's an OG. Especially on the west side in 69, 70, 71, we were basically in LA being shipped from the east side of Los Angeles to the west side, where you could see Tookie at one end of the park and the white Catholics down playing croquet at the other end simultaneously. There was no projects. We had homes. And by the way, let's kill that myth about the two-parent and single-family home. Tookie had a two-parent home. I had a two-parent home. I watched my children, but they didn't know we were sneaking out the window. And by the time they caught on, it was too late. It was too late. So I think the youth of today are being deceived by Black exploitation back like in 72. Here come Charleston Blue. Come back Charleston Blue, Superfly. All these things, drugs aren't new in this America. It was $50,000, $75,000 a key back then. But who at 14 or 15 gonna know somebody back in the 70s? So now we see the exploitation on social media. that's another area that needs to be addressed, where what is the accountability for the contents that's being shown to our youth, where our parents are letting their children, letting the internet be their babysitters for them, where they're not monitoring what they see, they're not using their discretion in what they see or caring. So we're also trying to start back Major League Baseball in the inner cities because of the lack of Black participation. I'm with the Doc Ellis Foundation, where we'll be at Pittsburgh honoring Doc Ellis because he's from LA and I grew up with him. So we're doing a lot of things socially and economically where we're putting our boots to the ground, as I said. We're not here to globalize or to try to talk as though we have bravado. We're here to try to give information that could keep youths and others from going down the same path that we went to, because as Marv said and Barbara said, those that are closest to the problem, we feel are closest to the solution.
No, but that's real, because it's like there's a difference. And like I said, I think also the word OG get thrown around loosely, but if I said it's a term of respect to you all, and it's you come with solutions. So most youth don't hear solutions. They just hear talking heads like the ones that's on the internet that mostly blame the people, or they're blaming side effects of white supremacy, but they'll never blame the cause. So most of them don't even know how to really identify a culprit. And like you said, it's always blaming the mother or blaming the single family, and that's just not what it's about. So when we hear people like you, this is what's needed, because these are like real elders. Another question I would like to ask you, okay, you said at some point you realized you was fighting the wrong enemy. What was that defining moment? Was it a book you read? Was it just a
No,
split?
it was the actual encounter.
What actually was it?
Well, you know, the Crips were a young group of men, 14 and 19, particularly on the west side, because we were integrating. We had cliques. Tookie had a gang called the Outlaws at Mount Vernon way before the Crips even came out. He had that in 69 somewhere in junior high. So the moment that I realized it was my first time, Mumpy, it was me, Bumpy, Guy Walker, Russell Capers, Kenny Robinson, Donald Ray brother, and we were all first timers in prison. And when I get there, this is how powerful it was in prison. And Marv can attest to this. The BGF, the Mexican, the Black Guerrilla family, as far as the Blacks, they worked in all the offices where they could dictate you getting transferred. So I first hit Soledad Central in 79, and I wasn't there but no more than a week. And the BGF had sent down somebody to hit a police in Soledad coming from San Quentin. And he went and hit an officer named Ernie. But Ernie had been bringing in, at that time, a little bit of weed and drinks for the inmates, and they hit the wrong one. And he was white. So when we go on lockdown, this was back in the days, Marv, you remember when you could have a stereo, carpet, and everything in your, and I hear a song blaring out the tier, money, do, 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 do. And you could have your rebel flag, and I didn't know nothing. And soon as the door unlocked, the whites and the ABs attacked the blacks behind the BGF and the Black Panthers hitting them. And from then on, I had my friend out of Compton that got killed in Palm Hall. I was there when the Corcoran murders occurred at Corcoran from 88, 89, 90, when they were sending us out there to go to the shoe programs, and then killing us when they would let the Mexican Mafia or another gang and knew it was a war. I was, when they started the 180 prisons, that's the half of a prison where it looked like a fishbowl, and they killed Omar, who had went back there. Marv No Knocker, Cecil, and One Eye Omar, and them real BGF Crip killers, real Crip killers, real ones. And they killed Omar, not One Eye, another Omar, brother out of Oakland, where he had got caught stealing only some bread, Marv. And they took him back to 4A at Tehachapi when they first opened it, because I was the first to parole from there in about 85, started 86. And they killed him. So my awareness to my people and what I need to do to try to help and bring back, I've been doing it. And that was my first realization that, hey, man, I've been fighting the wrong cause. And I just changed my life around. And like I say, contrary to what others would believe, I've never been arrested as far as any violence or any murder or any of that against the Black, period. The only violence I've had was robberies with the gun, but right now I'm on 83 years sentence from Georgia prison, where I'm on parole for 3 counts of attempted murder on the police in Georgia and 5 other counts where I was up under the 7 deadly sins law, which is worse than the RICO Act that Young Thug, that only carried 20, but they have another law similar to the California 3 strikes recidivism called the 7 deadly sins. So as we said now, I've been on parole. I got arrested 2010. I did 4 years in Georgia chain gang. I got parole and I've been out 9 years with no falter where they had set me up. I went back to Georgia on about a 90-day drive, and I still have 7 more years left on parole. So I've been up under some type of probation or supervision parole since 2010, and I don't get off till 2030.
Marv, you gonna answer that too? I think you already answered.
Well, yeah, well, like what Melvin was identifying, and that's a real awakening when you get in a prison experience. And I mean, my elders, my OG, John Cloutier is out of Compton. I'm from Magnolia Street. He was with George Jackson. He was one of the Soledad brothers.
Yeah.
My crime partner, Jesse Phillips, he was one of the Soledad 7. I was in youth authority with Melvin was talking about. I was in youth authority in YA, and we were the Ontario 9, and we killed a white boy and stabbed 7 in Ontario, and we all met in San Quentin. My crime partner Jesse, he was in the adjustment center when George got killed. Him and Rochelle McGee, Felita, Death Row Jeff, all of them were in. So I've had the privilege of being around some of the most vicious men in California history, you know, and that they were like Buford Beard, Rodermouth. He had 9 institution murders. Doc Holliday. Doc is the one that gave me the name Ayatollah in 1979. Me, Doc, Tookie, Ray Browning, Bobby Joe Maxwell, the Skid Row slasher, Angela Bono, the Hillside Strangler. I've been around some vicious folks most of my days. And so the separation of how we understood in the penal system who the enemy was. And now it's so camouflaged, they got us in San Quentin in 1983, in Max B, Management Control Unit, MCU, on the yard, the upper yard of San Quentin, they got 5 yards, right? First yard is for BGF. Second yard is for Crips. Third yard is for 8 trays. Fourth yard is for Hoovers, because they don't get along, right? So you got 4 separate yards that blacks have to go to, but the Mexicans and the Mexican Mafia and the Aryan Brotherhood, they go to the same yard. So all of them is fighting against you, right? So now we fighting each other on what neighborhood we from, and they just killing us because we black. So we got life turn around, and they subliminally came in and made us give a power, like Melvin was just saying. In the 70s and the 80s, we controlled the yard. We worked in the assignment offices, we had people working in there. Today, ain't nothing in the assignment office but Mexicans or white or homosexuals. So blacks got no pull in prison anymore. We gave it away. We didn't lose it. We just gave it away, you know? So my defining moment, it's always been defined. When gangbanging came and it's initiated, and I saw an economical pull on that, I would, for my own selfish reason, I created my MARV in order to exploit my own people, right? And then when I saw what I was doing, I'm like, the same way, I'm like, what the hell is, I'm quick. They'll follow me anywhere as long as I say it's a Crip or somebody, but they will not go shoot at a Mexican or a police. They're easy to come to a whoop, but if I ask them to come to the Mars, I ain't ready yet. Nobody wants to get there. Like we want convenience, but Miles says, for every great thing, there's a supreme sacrifice. Blacks do not want to sacrifice for us. We'll sacrifice for everybody else, but we'll never sacrifice for us. Ma also said, once you have robbed a man of everything, he is no longer in your power. He's free again.
Hey, I want to ask Barbara Gaskins again about a little bit about what she do.
Yeah.
Her work.
And after you answer that, tell us, how did you come up with your saving of the world method also? What made you want to save the community, save the Black race?
So as I said, because I caught that charge, it really affected and led to a lot of collateral consequences. I was actually working in mental health, substance use, and criminal justice. I got offered a position with probation and parole, actually. And when they pulled my background, it held me back. Even though I have a misdemeanor, it's 37 pages. It was based, it was unauthorized use of a calling card. And so I was charged with every call made. And so when it came to employment, it was more so that, like I said, that background held me back. And because of that, I just started just looking and seeing, because as I said, I did work with mental health and substance use, and we saw, individuals coming back, and we saw that revolving door. And I was like, with my misdemeanor, I knew how bad it was for me. And so I can imagine how hard it is, and saw how hard it is if you have that scarlet letter behind your name, which was why, I wanted to fight. I also have a god brother who stayed with me, while I was running. He, society considers him a career criminal, but they fail to understand the trauma and issues that he went with. Or dealt with. They failed to understand that his mom passed when he was 11, 12 years old. And so, he, as any child would, was seeking inclusivity and seeking, just to be accepted. And so he joined UBN, and that led, some of his actions led to him being incarcerated. When he got out this last time, he came here, and we were able to get a birth certificate for him. But when it was time to get an ID, we couldn't get an ID because we didn't have a social security card. We couldn't get a social security card because we didn't have an ID, but we had employment lined up for him. So, even though we had employment, we didn't have that pertinent information. But nobody talks about, like I said, those collateral consequences. Nobody talks about that, when someone comes home from incarceration, probation fees start, child support starts, everything starts back up. And if you don't have a means, if you aren't given or provided the resources to not recidivate, it's only so long, or, only so long before a man or a woman, you get tired of having your back put against the wall. And it's only so long, when the streets come back and say, let me hit you up with this pack and you know, you get this pack off, and you know, we know the story. Ultimately, I lost my brother right before primaries. He there was a bad set of drugs around the area. He got his hands on fentanyl. I found him overdosed. So I refuse to, you know, let his name die. I refuse to let his memory die. You know, that is actually someone that we lost that could have been saved. So that's why I struggle and fight. In addition, I'm connected with several organizations here in North Carolina that fight for criminal justice and prison reform. And I'm sorry, what was the other question?
You pretty much answered it. He wanted to know what you're doing now, and I wanted to know how did you get to that point.
Okay.
But say your brother's name.
Nairobi Blow. They called him Black in the streets.
Okay. Salute.
Yes. So, and I'll say I've written 2 re-entry manuals. One of which we are working to get inside the prisons. And with those manuals, it provides, you know, the resources prior to even being released. It allows an individual, you know, a fighting chance, because so many of us, when we come out, we don't have those resources. And going back into the neighborhoods, you know, that we come from, you know, without, you know, actual resources, it's hard. And no one is talking about that.
That's a fact. We got other brothers on the show. Any brothers on Knowledge or John? I think they now there. Any of y'all got any questions for the panel before we just keep going?
Yeah, I don't have any questions for the panel. I was just, you know, I had looked up MELVINFARMER. I actually seen this video before. You know, just pretty much, you know, the struggle of dealing with the system and dealing with our people. But what the other guy said, Maury, it's true. Black people don't want to, they're not willing to die or sacrifice for the cause, you know, but they will fight each other, but they won't, you know, fight no one else. I tell the young people sometimes, they be out here doing crazy stuff. I said, you mad at your brother or your friend, but you never want to go say anything to the white man at all. And therefore, you know, I don't know, you know, what it stems from, which I do know what it stems from. It stems from them not liking each other or hating their own skin. You know, the struggle is very real, and we just got to keep building until something cracks, until something happens. I will say this though, a lot of young people are starting to wake up, but some of them are waking up in a very bad way. They're starting to wake up, and then we have like mental disease kick in, where they get too crazy with the knowledge or the information or with the cause. And then, you know, you find yourself being kind of a little bit out of time and out of space. But we just got to keep feeding the people and see what happens.
It's crazy because when I was listening to the brother AYATOLLAHMARV, like you say, we don't fight anymore for nothing. But man, our elders and ancestors showed us the blueprint of fighting. Man, they've been fighting a lot. And I always make this example. Look at the bus boycott. You know what I mean? That was a fight. They fought for what they believed in. You don't do that anymore.
That was a sacrifice.
That means
we had to walk to work. That means we had to walk to the park or downtown or wherever we was going. The sacrifice is missing. I think it go along with we don't want to die for the real cause. Put it this way, I tell my peoples when we talk about this, I say the line, nobody wants to die in Disneyland. American Blacks think they in Disneyland. It's too much It's too much candy. It's too much candy on the ground. So it's hard for them to get that up.
Yeah, because it's like the more you begin to get trinkets and the more they begin to get socialized into the system and have things that they felt like it was nothing to fight over. But more importantly, a great psychologist named Bobby E. Wright once said, and this always stuck with me, he said, blacks kill blacks because they was never trained to kill whites. So when we say that, you know, we have to really understand the depth of that statement. And, you know, I'm always talking about the social engineering aspect. So we've been shown how to be our quote unquote biggest enemy. That's all we know how. We haven't known how to take out frustration, but in our surrounding areas, in the proximity.
Yeah,
let me say this. Let me say this. It's not just an accident. This was created from slavery. When the slave master introduced the Holy Bible, King James Version of the Bible, it says, honor your God as your Lord. And we've been patrolling that white people are God and that black people, you're just a rich, a dirty piece of rags. So it started being created in our generational system. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it's subliminal seduction. They do so many things subliminally that we get this fear from the womb that our mothers are so scared of us being attacked by white, she'll give you up. And my mother never took me to a bank to rob it, but she would always make sure I went to court.
Yeah, that's something right there. Also, that's something. We scared to fight, and when we see things in the public, instead of saying something or doing something, everyone is pulling out their cell phone videoing. You know, it's turned into seem like a lot of people have a lot of schoolwork assignments, but they never really want to get into the real schoolwork. Everybody want a video with their phone, or post it, or something like that, instead of stopping it. You know what I'm saying? And by stopping it, if a situation is happening, you know, ask questions, get into that situation. You know, I was headed to work one day to my warehouse, and I saw a guy jumping on his girl at the bus stop. I pulled over. You know, I believe if I wouldn't have pulled over, he would have just, you know, whooped her, and the girl was holding the baby, which was his baby, and he was just hitting in the face. The bus driver didn't say nothing. People on the bus didn't say nothing. I was the only person that said something. You know, but we gotta take that initiative. You know, sometimes you gotta go off feeling, and sometimes you just gotta do it.
And you know, people think it's a quick fix, and it's a big difference. You know, when water spilled, you can clean water up, but we also have to say it like Marv said. So when I say it's very hard to clean up blood, it leaves a stain. And that stain go back to slavery, not just today. We've always had murder. And now I believe that when it comes to homicide now within these marginalized communities, because over the 50 years that has taken place in Compton, so we're a little bit more, not advanced, but we have more experience to where we're Marv and me. Y'all don't know what it is to be a real OG, an opportunity giver. You don't know what me and Marv and others, not just us, but let me tell you what OGs go through. Most of these youth, I'll speak for me, and Marvin can say if it's the same. I doubt if it ain't a family or a youth that get killed or anybody where Marvin doesn't know they family, whether it be the grandson, the niece, he's gonna know something. And Marv could get calls. I get calls from parents all over. Hey, Melvin, my true story. They just killed my husband, 3:05 in the morning. Where I'm at, the girl come in screaming, they just killed such and such. They just killed such and such. I thought you said my mama was dead. And I jumped up. And the girl called me and she say, Melvin, they just killed my husband running into, they jumped through trying to rob us. They were selling meth in a hotel, big story in LA, right around 100 days, 100 nights. And then a couple months later, she called me and she said, Melvin, they called him, but it wasn't no incitement. And she said he was from a tray. Took him. Granddaughter, Bonnie called me a couple years ago. Melvin, they just shot at Tookie's grandkids, 2 of them. And they say it's from such and such. But she called me because this is intervention, what you won't see or hear about. That's why I said it won't be revolutionized or televised. These are the type of things that save lives, that me, Marv, and others do behind the door. So I say, Bonnie, hold up, give me a description of the car. And they say they from here and here. Let me run a check. I call her back and I say, it's no car like that. And I say, I know how these guys get down here. First of all, they barely got enough gas to get there, let alone run around and chase somebody. I think these guys shot it out a different set's name. And I can say on my word that I don't think they did it. And because my word was put on it, nothing didn't happen. Because if that would have got out, it might as well been a back to a war like Nipsey Hussle, the Rolling 60s and the 8 Trays, which I refer to as the Hatfields and McCoys, to where people can understand. And then I can go on with all type of stories where it's not just me, Marv, Skip Townsend, Bernard Cooper, just those that do intervention and prevention that are in LA. And we have credible messengers, King Tone, AYATOLLAHMARV, Sean Stevenson from the Black Philly Mob, Jeff Fort, Larry Hoover organizations. He said Rodney Brown and Ray. We just got a vast network of people that you will not see. Their boots are to the ground and their voices are silenced where they're doing the work behind the scenes. And we want people to know, we hear so much this slandering and saying another name. And I hear people when they started out, they were saying, fuck what I say, watch what I do. Well, that should apply to us. Match up with us on all these shows where they're talking this shit like they king shit or turd island. Tell them to match up with us in the body of work that we're doing. We challenge any grassroots organization, us as credible messengers as a whole. And now with Barbara, she's also has gotten a grant, and she's a grant writer. If anybody needs her, she's excellent with writing curriculums for the schools because we believe in education over incarceration. And it's really a fascinating woman. I've listened to Barbara's voice, and I felt her voice needed to be heard, so I inboxed her, just like I did Charleston White. I Marvin. I feel that all of them voices need to be heard because I believe just because an elephant has the biggest head in the world, that don't mean he got all the sense. So we want the inclusion, not the illusion that you have inclusion. We're transparency, and we're asking all of us to work together, not just where we come on this show and walk on up. No, we want to build. That's what a builder is. We're a builder of men, our people. And by the way, we have the, what was that, Barbara? I told you, the Masons. We have this whole Southern district that has endorsed Barbara Gaskin in her run for a congressional seat. So that's Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C. Those are the targeted areas starting when the presidential elections start and these local, state, and federal positions are open. We're looking to get Barbara in the Congression, and we're moving to Washington, D.C., but we're starting an overall drive in the South, which we hope will permeate through all the regions, Midwest, Chicago, Midwest, Southwest, Texas, Oklahoma, and on to the West Coast. We really believe that we have to give these youth something to march to. They have nothing to march to. It's too easy for them. They've gotten a sense of entitlement to where they feel they're privileged.
Clearly saying
so I just want to once again say, follow up to Barbara Gaskins and the campaign that we're running with Marvin. We're planning an event in North Carolina where we're going to be giving backpacks and supplies for school, while also doing voter registrations for the upcoming elections, because Barbara will be running in a 15-county district, and that's the area that we plan to attack. She only lost by a couple of seats to where we feel we can make up that differentiation with the participation of those within the community to where their vote really does matter.
Well, if you ever run, I'm gonna speak for all the brothers. We'd love to be a part of that run in any way possible if we can help. As soon as you announce that you're gonna run again, we'd love to help in any way we can.
Yep.
Real talk.
And we also give everybody the number where you can contact Barbara or me or Ayatollah and others, because we have other events to where what we're doing, you can simultaneously, and we can start getting what we need in America, structure. We need structure. And we're trying to create a structure to really give back to our community and to serve our youth and the elderly and guys like you guys. I'm proud. I hear you all say you got jobs. I just got my first job where I was damn near too old to work and too young for Social Security. I was stuck. But I went to school at 65, learned to be a tax preparer after never being in a class since the 8th grade. So we also are experts by experience. If I could go to school and learn and become a taxpayer, I just went and got my first time getting, I don't even know what they call it, when you get where they don't took the taxes out. And you don't work because they laid you off. My first time, yeah. I just went and filled it. So these are the type of things where if I can do it, other ones can do it, the way you can change your life around. And at the end of the day, hard works, nothing comes easy. And we just want them to walk a righteous path, bro.
To lighten it up real quick, let me just throw this in, because I do want to know this. This is sidebar though. Y'all from the dirt in LA. Did y'all respect Tupac?
Marv? I don't know, Marv froze. Well, with me, I knew Tupac when he was coming through, when he was with Humpty, then when he was just a dancer, because a lot of people don't know I've been in hip hop with Michael Conception, probably arguably the biggest and most powerful influential record label on the Grand Jury Records. So I've had relationships with Tupac back when he was with Jada Pinkett, when Cross Colors was out, and I followed his career. And back then, that was a Compton blood thing. And a lot of times, we wasn't closest to the problem. So if you wasn't really gang banging within the industry and wasn't in Compton, where you might can run across them, because very seldom he'd be on the West, I had no problems with Tupac, his music, what he represented. You know, I stayed in my lane. We was doing what we was doing, because at that time we had MC Hammer, Above the Law, Humpty, Young MC, Dr. Dre did the front side. We all in the same gangs, and him and Michael Conception rapped on the B side. We had Tone Loc, we had Jewel, we had Michelet, we had Above the Law. Who else? We had all these artists that's the equivalent of Dre, Lil Wayne, when we made We All in the Same Gang. And especially at that time, we were talking about the same thing as we ask now, the contents and the lyrics in rap. We've been in, so this is nothing new to us. And then when Lamar Lubin, that's the lead singer for Dirty Rotten Scandals, and Barber can attest, is that my boy Barber? My boy that say this is for the homies.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so we've been around, I've been around hip hop, DJ Premier, African Ben Bada, and so forth, all from that. So I've never had no hatred toward anybody that's getting money, and particularly in the hip hop world. It didn't affect me. I was getting my money a different way.
Well, Ayatollah Marv, you good?
Yes, sir.
The question was, did y'all respect Tupac?
Well, what do you mean? I mean, Tupac is one of the most sensational young artists. It is, you know, putting it in the stuff that he went to. He grew up in royalty and he grew up knowing the revolution. So he came out of, you know, his little notoriety came out of Compton, out of a death row. And I was in Vegas the night he got killed. I was doing a detail with Mike Tyson at the night of the fight when Pac was killed. So yeah.
Y'all know the FBI was gonna hate on this. Come on. Stop messing with the internet. Oh, man. Water, what do we do? Do we send him the link over?
Ramifications with people to order to maintain and demand respect.
You had went out and went in, I told you.
Oh, excuse me?
You had went out, you froze up.
Okay, no, I was just saying that respect is commanded, and that for the accomplishment that Pac made, I was explaining that I was on the movie Gridlock with him, the last movie he did with Tim Roth. I was on Mike Tyson detail the night that Pac got killed. I saw him just before he left the dressing room after the fight. And that through these things, bruh made a great impact. He's making an impact even in his death with his music right now, you know? So yeah, for the lyrics and for the things that he explained and the way he put out, he was a lyrical genius, you know, you got to give it to him. And White America always subsequently killed the ones that really do anything. Pac, he had, when they started Rock the Vote, he said, Pac had to die when he announced to White America that just went double platinum. I got 10 million sales. And if I can just have one person change their mind, I could create a revolution. And he started Rock the Vote. And after Puffy them got on Rock the Vote, but after Pac got killed, you never heard about Rock the Vote anymore. So we're in North Carolina, August the 26th, we're doing a picnic on Rock the Vote. So we're bringing back, you know, getting Bloods and Crips and deal with the unheard citizenship and bring them to the power, because the vote is power if you know who to vote for. And how the only thing that's wrong with voting with Blacks in America, we don't make our politicians accountable for what they say about us. They get up there with White America and they never come to the hood. So they say stuff where we need this in Compton, and you've never been to Compton. If a Mexican say some shit about Mexicans, somebody in Mexico gonna get killed. So it's accountability. If some of these coons had to realize and see some of their kids hung up on clotheslines, they wouldn't be talking shit about, you know, Al Sharpton got $5 billion. What has he done actually for Blacks in America? But go to the hip hop awards. So that's just me.
Man, that's what's up. August 26th, is that for everybody?
That's for the vote of Barbaragaskin. Yeah, it's for everybody Black. I don't need no Peckerwoods. I don't need no Mexicans up in there. We need I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm unapologetically
this
Black.
is the language.
That's what we're about, man.
Please.
That's what we're about, straight up.
Please.
So we go to Cinco de Mayo, but we're not invited. So
Right.
August the 26th, it's a black party only. If you come in, you're gonna feel uninvited.
That's right. What city in North Carolina?
Barbara, I have to tell you that. I'm from Compton. All I know is these 10 square miles.
So we are we're working on that weekend. So it would start the 25th, 26th, and 27th is what we're looking at. The cities will be Greenville and Washington, North Carolina.
Okay.
Are we going to get to meet you? This is for everybody, for us to get acquainted with Mrs. Gaskins?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
I was 26.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah, North Carolina ain't too far from us. What, about 6-7 hours?
Yeah, we could do that quick.
Yeah.
So that's what we need. We need young blacks that's hands-on. This sister is a real soldier. I mean, I met her. I like her personality, and she's not Molly Collie, which she says she do, and she does. So with blacks like that, once you know they get in office, she has the responsibility for her constituents, not just, most of these politicians run in the church and go on all these, and you don't hear from them anymore. But she's, like the famous words of Melvin Farmer, we don't set trip, we set trends. And she's one of the trend-setting politicians I can see.
We don't set trip, we set trends. I like that.
That's Melvin Farmer, that's right.
Quote, that's what's up. Bars. It's beautiful. I wish it could go on for 4 hours if it was up to me. I mean, we don't have to shut it down now. We got a few minutes left. We good. But I want y'all to talk to the youngins, the gun toters, the gang members real quick again. Y'all touched it earlier in the show. What do y'all want them to know that can help them or stop them from getting put in this web of the gun laws and maybe even the politics of gang culture?
If I can kind of chime in on that.
Go ahead.
So I'm a hip hop head. I loved Young Jeezy when he first came out, before he became commercialized. And he gave us that street, that the gritty, the street. But then when he had kids, I don't know if you all saw it or remember, he made a statement that he didn't want his son in the street. He wanted his son to graduate. And we as a people have to understand that these artists are just that, they are entertainers. And, so many of our kids and, our community are trying to live this entertainer lifestyle by trying to act as if those, act like those people that are entertaining us. But at the end of the day, we have to realize they go back to gated communities when we go back to the hood.
Thanks.
And so we have to understand, like Ayatollah said, we have to understand where our power lies. Our power lies in the vote. Our power lies, when it comes to being on the ground. Our power lies when it comes to going to the school board meetings, to being, at these meetings and at these tables. We have to have our voice heard.
Marv?
Yeah, Marv, you got it.
Oh, yes, sir. The main thing is, one of the things is knowledge and understanding. We're talking about federals. I got locked up and went to the feds for, like I say, Operation Safe Street, a known gang member in possession of a weapon. Not what I did with the weapon, is just in possession and not being in a state that the weapon was made in. And my point is when I got to I'm like, the feds, when I got there and I was looking at the law, and I said, just in possession of the gun is 35 years. And each bullet is another 5 years. And when I went to the law library, when you look at one law, it comes to another law. So I looked at the commerce law, right? And when I looked at the commerce law, I looked at this thing called computer fraud. And computer fraud, I looked at computer fraud, you can steal up to $80 million in computer fraud, and the highest term is 48 months. But I'm looking at 35 years for just carrying a gun. I'm in the wrong business. I need to start robbing banks. So when you understand what the plague of a gun is, and you can use a computer, you use a computer for every fist fights, YouTube, go into Chase Manhattan Bank, get 80 million. If I get 1 million, I did 25.
Crack. Come on. We never really have too much technical difficulties like this. They know who's in the building.
You probably have like bad reception in a bad reception area.
Brother Marv, you gotta say all of that again, please. When you come back. Melvin Farmer, if you want to go until he get back.
And what was the question? What I would like to say to the youth?
Yeah, you know, certain things you really, really, really want to know.
But I want to add this in before he go, because he mentioned the name. A lot of people, please add in to the people that think Charleston White is a wise person. So please, because that plucks my nerve. So to the people that think that that's intelligence and wisdom speaking, can you also speak to the youth about that, or following that right there?
Well, I'm just, one thing we have to do is learn to forgive, and the only thing good about the past that is over, and the only thing that's about tomorrow is it's not promised. Simple as that. I knew Charleston White where he came to meet me in 2018. Just like Barbara, but in Barbara's case, I reached out to her. He reached out to me. Hey, Melvin, I've seen you on the internet. You're the only guy I know that gang bang. And was a former gang member that talked positive, and I just had to meet you. That's how he came at me. All that rhetoric, and I got the video. In fact, it was November 18th, about 2018. That's when he was known as, what was his name? I'll remember it in a minute. So anyway, I took him to Nipsey Hussle's funeral. He got in there through me, where he talked about, oh, I looked at air mist. That's not true. And that go back to also how we need to have accountability, to where it's easy where you only get 1/80 of a story and everybody for sound bites and lights, but they never let nobody else respond to the slander or whatever. So with Charleston White, this is what I want to say. He's the fakest thing since Milli Vanilli and Ice Ice Baby and whatever else. And not saying some things they think it sounds smart, but let me give you a good example about how you can know the answer to something until that teacher call you and asks you, show us the formula. While I was learning taxes, they had scenarios to where we had to learn how to do a 1099, a 1098, IHSS, all type of 1040s, and they all had numbers: earned tax credit, deduction, non-deduction, and so forth. And so you could skip to the end of the test where the answers say $9,470, and now you're on TV and everybody asking you, well, what do you think of Black Lives Matter? And you say something fantastic. In this case, the teacher asked Melvin, how you get that answer? You're correct. And everybody, yeah, they think I know the answer. Until she say, Now come up here and show us the formula that made it. And I don't know where the 1090 go earn or whatever. So a lot of times when you hear the same things he said, you know, you're dealing with an audience that basically still believe wrestling will. That's the first thing. That's the first problem. They still believe wrestling real, and you can tell it by the verbal gymnastics that go on there. And so I told Charleston White, I say, look, you kind of bright. Let's manage each other. True story. Let's manage each other. I got him on shows here. I got him a job. And then he went back and I went down there and we did what we did. And then Marv, and now he's on TV saying stuff, and he always mentioned my name. I was with OG MELVINFARMER. I was with OG MELVINFARMER. At the beginning, me and him was cool. And then, but he's talking about guys he met through me, and he's lying on. That's the problem. And you know, he lying on these cats who I know. The story about, oh, I went over there to the Rolling 60s and they had this in the trunk, or I sent him a gun. And then we're not holding him accountable for his action and his lies, and they think it's entertainment. And so then Marv, this how the incident happened on Boss Talk. Marv said, after he said something about Mob James' brother, who we all know, and Marv say, I want to meet Charleston White. Can you make it where we have an interview? So I knew Boss Talk. So I called Boss Talk and I say, look, man, Marv want to meet Charleston White. This before all this shit break. And we set it up. And you know we had to still be cool. But now at this time, I don't know he don't rat it either. Because the persona that you're seeing, no, he wasn't no gang member. He was just a regular guy. That's it. So anyway, we get down there and we standing outside, and I walk up to him, and like I say, I hugged him and I patted him down around the waist and down the back to make sure he ain't got a wire, because now he's starting to talk a little shit. This after Mob James and him and Do Nothing Dewberry were up there. They were sitting on there. He just talks shit and don't do a goddamn thing. He know 101 ways to shake hands, young man. He would break his back, partner. I promise you on my mama. We're being humble, but we've been brought up in this game, and we don't hate on nobody. Right. And I'm not gonna sit and mack them and criticize them or nothing, but they brought it, and it ain't like you can do a robbery then go back and tell the victim, I'm gonna give you your shit back. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Like Shannon Sharp said, I read the Bible, but that don't mean I'm gonna turn the other cheek. And until they tell the truth or come on a show, any show, they can come on together, we and Marv, and let's discuss what we doing and the thoughts and what we do in America, and let's just match up and have a real dialogue. That's a challenge. So anyway, Marv had written notes. Marv, we didn't go with no intentions of nothing but him and Marv talking. And Marv would tell you, I said, I'm not gonna go on the show. I'm gonna let you and Marv have the discussion. I say, and I'm gonna sit back. And I was actually sitting back before the show got ready to start. And Boss Talk say, no, Melvin, come get in the middle. So I say, if I get in the middle, you must start with me. That way I can lay the ground rules of their discussion where it ain't gonna be no slander, it's just gonna be a straight dialogue, you know what I mean? But Boss Talk started off with Charleston White and him running that shit after I done told him, if you say it in here, bro, it's gonna be a problem in front of me. I told him that. And so he went on. And so I don't know what's the problem where two men got a problem. Nobody got nothing else to do with it. Nobody. And he can match up on the mic, any of them. And let's see who happening and who doing what, who can walk to these communities. Me and Marv go all over the world without no security. Yes, because we come with respect, we give respect, and they can tell our vibes. So many youngsters say, man, y'all the coolest cats, because we blend right in. Because we still had that youthism in us and the spirit that we believe in the youth. We believe in them. We want them to be better than us. That's what drive us. We want you to be better than us. You ain't heard us ask for a penny to be on here. And I don't have no employment. But when you call, young man, did we call you right back and say whatever you want, we will do it. Am I correct? But they bragging. So at the end of the day, when it comes to Charleston White, any of them, I'm not gonna be a player hater. That's what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna slander nobody. And I just wish the same respect would be given back to us. You don't hear us hollering, hooping, cussing, motherfuckers. We come with respect, with calmness. Because I feel we should be able to have dialogue. And if they want to come and say, hey, man, we can bring this. But also, I think with Charleston White, we need to hold him accountable for telling on 3 young men that have still been incarcerated. One got killed to where he committed a crime and then went and dropped a dime and signed a confession. And he said, I'll give $20,000. Be a man of your word. Me and Marv went, did the research, and Charleston White is steady going back to what they call IVSS, Integrated Victim Service System, which is a part of the Texas Department of Correction, to whereas Charleston White get notified when Antoine Doolittle, DJ Jackson, and who got killed. So you know I'm hitting it off the top of my head like a rapper. I can spit it all day, young man, because there's some true things. Whenever I speak, you can go Google it. Yes, and so they came and got in contact with me, and they say, man, all we want to do is go home. Don't forget these young men been in jail since they was 15 behind Charleston White. Charleston White got out. He never killed a white man when he got on that stand. And they asked him who killed Michael Levy. He said, Antoine Doolittle. And they say, is that him in the blue suit? He said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so now, if he want to really show that he's remorseful, he needs to go to that and pull up a campaign to get these young men that he put in there and get back and get them young men out because they've been in there, and that's the right thing to do. I don't know no race that will let somebody, they're trying to invoke entertainment rules into these streets, which does, it ain't gonna work. And so once again, we know a lot of snitching and ratting doesn't have the weight, or really it's that irrelevant now, because the code ain't being honored. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're gonna keep on talking about here snitch, here rat, I thought, exposed, tell. We need to change the narrative. And once again, we need to everybody needs to start with self-check and go back to loving each other. Because if you can't love yourself, how do I expect you to love me? So if we can come to some type of equitable solution to where everybody can be part of the solution and let bygones be bygones, and people stand up and say, hey, I was wrong, and stand up and be a man, then you might can get the respect to where, okay, man, what he say make a little sense, and we all come together. And that's just my feeling on it. But other than that, until he comes to the board and comes correct, I just ain't seeing nothing to even talk to him about, because it's nothing that he's doing for the community. Yes, sir. It's nothing. It's nothing. And I can go a little deeper to where I could really say something that's really troubling, but they seem to ignore it. So I'm gonna let that go. But at the end of the day, we don't really care what they do. We're in our lane to where we're doing action, where we're lobbying, affirmative action. And if anybody want to match up and join up that's doing the same as we doing, and believe in what we're doing. You know, that's like going to a crap game and you see the crap game is loaded. You got to sit there and lose your money, to sit there and tell them that the goddamn game is loaded and it's crooked, or you can walk your ass out and go to an honest game. I choose to go the easy route and walk my way away from the problem and just go to the easier game where I think I can have more success in what I'm trying to do. So in a nutshell, that's what's happening.
Brother Melvin, your volume went down.
The volume went down.
FBI hating all over this.
Now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
The last 10, 15 seconds, you were saying.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yep.
Just continue from about 15 seconds back. If you remember.
You probably, I don't think he can hear us.
Like I said, the FBI here. We got a few minutes left anyway. Damn. Man, they always say that. Miss Gaskins, can you hear us? Oh, let me find that. Woo!
Everybody
Okay.
home, man.
Technical difficulties with the internet, you know, they don't want the message to get out. I hope this could be part one. And, you know, the first time they come back,
Yeah.
we'll get them back on and go a little deeper about the gun laws and the politics of the gang culture. I wanted to ask them about the Elders Council, but I'm gonna hit them on an email and talk to them straight. But maybe they want to come through on the Elders Council too. But I think Barbara Gaskins, she can't hear us either. I just want to thank all three of y'all, family, for gracing us with your presence. We learned so much. You gave us a lot of homework. We gotta get on the gun laws, the jail laws, and the economic laws. They got so many weapons against us right now. Yeah, the FBI here, and they just cut them all off. John ain't even get to ask a question. I know he probably had one or two. But everybody give y'all info out.
Yo, you can catch me on IG, K.Akil4. Check out me on Instagram, my IG page, KNS Apparel. You can also check out Sun Goddess _sense on Instagram as well.
Race first.
First.
Obasi just around.
Yeah, you know, I'm around. You know where to catch me.
Yeah,
I'm around. Hey,
seven times.
And the brother Yanga said a great show, 100. What up, Yanga, man? You help you
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
better,
Big
brother.
up the chat real quick before everybody else get in. Go in the chat.
E. Clinton.
Lee Clinton, salute.
The brother Jack Kim.
My man Jack Kim in the building.
That's your brother, man.
Yeah.
Imam Mindy.
Imam, we gonna get you on, Imam. I want to hear you say that in person.
Word
You
up.
be in the chat a lot.
Word up. We got Son the Great.
It's respect though.
Yo,
Son the Great in the building.
what's
Word
up,
up.
G?
Brother Mike Chambers.
Yo,
It was all black everything.
Word up. All black everything. Yeah, blackish. Yeah. You got JNG.
JNG Incorporated. I see you.
Yup. Sandra
Salute.
Robinson. Sandra Robinson.
She said black power to everybody.
That's
Black
right. Yeah.
power.
We got my homeboy. What up, Brandon Murphy? Co-worker in the house.
Salute, Brandon.
We got what's that?
Love my fro.
The Love My Fro. Yup.
Big up to I love my fro.
Yeah, then we got the brother Yanga, as I said, the brother Yanga.
Is that Yanga?
Yeah, that's Yanga, man.
Ah,
I'm gonna give him a
gotta
call to
get-
see how you doing tomorrow.
yeah,
man.
yeah, we gotta get him on.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up. Thanks, family. Yo, everybody listening, put a us in the comment under the video, not the chat. Put a us in the comment. That's what I want everybody to start doing. Just put us. Capital US, lowercase, it don't matter.
J&G Incorporated say Monster by Sianka Shakur is a great intro to gang culture. Yeah, I read that book when it first came out in the 90s.
Cody. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, we got Will, some other people coming in the chat. Will M.
Big Will. We got my
Will
cousin.
from the Bronx.
That's my cousin.
The Boogie Down Bronx in the house.
Big Will in the building. Salute.
Word up. Yep, that's about it, man. Good show, man. I'm gonna get in contact. I got their numbers if y'all want the numbers.
Yeah. I'm
Sister
gonna get that
Marv,
from you off.
and also AYATOLLAHMARV, man. I've been talking to my, well, all three of them this week, but I've been talking with Melvin all last week. I appreciate that, brother, man. He didn't have to come on the platform, but he dove right on in, man.
Now, I thought I heard him say they don't like to be referred to as OGs, similar to what Obasi said. It's thrown around so much. There's so many fake OGs.
Right.
But in the sense of the word, those was two real OGs.
Oh yeah, but we
They
say
go.
respect.
Revolutionaries.
Right.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. You could become a revolutionary gangster.
All you gotta do is get you a name, get your leadership or whatever.
That's all we need, and we need all of y'all. We need y'all in this plight, not against you yourselves in the mirror. We actually need you for the revolution. So think about it. D, you got it. Knowledge, you got it.
Vocal dialect, VOKALDIALE LEECT on Facebook and Instagram. Check us out. Man, go check us out on social media. Us.
Brother John.
Hard grown.
Peace, family. Race first. Brother John, UNIACL Division 421 on social media. You can call us directly 678-631-9404. Just want to give a big shout out to Brother Melvin and Brother Marvin. As you said, OGs, especially from our opinion, from our generation, the individuals that were there when the legacy that we worship so much was being created. So original, G's, we won't have to say the whole term, but they definitely fit that title. These they may not appreciate, or want the term elder, but they are elders to us, and the knowledge that they are able to give us, I think is priceless. So I appreciate them for coming onto the platform. Appreciate Brother Rebel, Brother Camardo for getting that together. But yeah, I'm still just digesting what the brother said. Hopefully we can get him back on in the future. Race first.
First. Rebel Vision Television. We got 3 of the hottest podcasts, y'all. Rebels Roundtable, Think Champs, and The Real Sisters Code. Come show us some love. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that. Like I said, leave a comment under the video. Put us in the video if you with us. And just holler at us. IG, Rebel with a Cause. You'll find me wherever you look. But I want to thank all y'all brothers for coming on. Another powerful show. I want to thank Marvin. I want to thank Brother Farmer and the sister
BARBARAGASKINS.
Gaskins, Miss Gaskins. We definitely gonna help you get that seat. So I guess we getting political real quick so we can see what that do. But thanks for everybody coming through, the family. Another powerful show. We'll see y'all next Thursday. And like I said, is anything this weekend? Y'all got any?
Oh yeah. I'm glad we doing another feeding in the community. Woodruff Park. We're gonna be out there at 11 a.m. Confident Woman, UNIA. You know what I mean? We're gonna be out there. So come out and volunteer. You donate to My Confident Woman. The cash out, $5, $10, but you can donate some clothes, personal hygiene products, products or food, whatever, you can contact me at 470-798-8527. Once again, we're gonna be at Woodruff Park this upcoming Saturday. We're gonna be out there at 11 p.m. in Tool. So, we
At 11 a.m.
people, man. Say that
11.
again.
My bad, son. 11 a.m., right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my bad.
So, yeah, come on, help us help some people, man.
And salute to Miss Zaida. She gave me $75 donation for that day. That was a little bit earlier. One of my peoples. So it's gonna be a good day. Salute to the gods. Y'all know what it is already. Us.